No idea what this is.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Another episode of Not Your Average Gun Girls, and we've got a fun one for you today.
Yeah.
Kind of going to do a little bit of everything. Got some Q&As, planned but unplanned.
Taunting me with a bag of gummy bears that you won't let me eat.
All right, so
and I'm starving.
Let's just get right into it. Okay, if you all have to know, must know by now, that we are a fan of our Haribo gummy bears.
And can I just insert really fast that Emily only eats the gummy bears, and she's the one that brought this to my attention, the made in Germany gummy bears.
Yes.
And I never read where my gummy bears were made. And then now that I did, I remember getting a bag. I don't even remember what country they were made. And I was like, you're right. They taste different.
Right. So on the back, they say if they're made in Germany, and I've also seen made in Turkey.
Because that's like the original place,
Yes,
right?
Germany.
So,
and I believe, and I can't remember where I found this, where I read this, or who told me this, but the ones made in Turkey, the reason that they taste different is they're using a different type of gelatin.
ew.
But like you can taste the difference.
Oh, you can. Well, now I can. Now I just don't even buy the ones that are made in Turkey.
So,
I just buy the ones made in Germany. Anyways,
So-
they've been sitting here at the table,
so-
and I'm starving, and I keep trying to open them. She goes, don't dig into that. I'm like, what are we doing with these gummy bears?
So I was at Woodmart Market where I usually get like all like, they have all the weird, like interesting kind of snacks and sugar sweets. And I found this package. It's in German, obviously, and I really I don't know what it says, but
We don't know what we're about to eat.
So I thought it would be fun to try these flavors together on the show, because on the front of it, it looks like there's like a cotton candy.
Wait. So what am I supposed to guess the flavor that I'm eating? Is that what, because now I don't want to look at the picture.
I don't know. Because I don't know what the flavors are.
Well, maybe we just try to figure it
Let's
out
figure it out.
and see if we can't. I like to do this with my jelly. Now, what I'm really hoping doesn't happen. Have you ever played the jelly bean game?
No.
There's this gross jelly bean game that you don't know which jelly bean flavor you're going to get, but apparently they put these nasty flavors like vomit.
No.
And boogers and
No.
just every disgusting thing you could think. And they hide them and they look like it'd be a cotton candy one. So no one knows when they're going to get the disgusting flavor. And, so everyone goes around and tries to guess what the flavor is. And then you get stuck with that nasty one. And it's just, that's
Where
not
do
what
you
this
get
is, right?
Vomit flavored jelly beans.
It's like a whole game. Like they have them
my
in the
gosh.
package and they just put them in there.
I'll pass.
Yeah, I know.
Hopefully there's no vomit flavor in these gummy
Well, I hope so
bears.
too, but I can't read German, so I'm not really sure what that
And
says
to
on there.
preface, these expired a couple months ago. But we're still going to go for it because
It's gelatin. I'm pretty sure that gummy bears don't expire. I think they just put an expiration date for our own peace of mind.
yes.
So
Right. All right. You go
I'm
first.
not worried about it.
Like the colors are very faint.
Okay. Oh yeah, they're like pastel.
Pastel. Would you go with a pink one? Mm-hmm. I'm going to do red.
Oh. I feel like I'm skewed because I saw the picture and I couldn't associate this taste with. I think that tasted like cotton candy.
I don't know. The red one, I feel like tastes like medicine.
Well, it's probably
The bright red
sucker.
one. Oh, is that what that picture was? I'm doing this light green
Okay.
or blue. I don't know what this is. Everyone's really enjoying us tasting gummy bears on this episode.
I have no idea what this is. Tastes kind of fruity. Maybe a little like a pineapple, kind of.
Did you do the green one?
No, I did the yellow one.
I feel the green one tastes like soap.
Okay, well, that yellow one was actually kind of bland, but maybe with a hint of fruit. I don't know what that was.
You did the pink one first, the light pink one?
I did the light pink one.
So far is the best one.
Yeah, that one tastes like gummy bears or cotton candy, I would say.
No, I'm doing yellow.
So I do love the different cultures and the different countries that have, if you've ever gone to Japan, you'll look at vending machines and you'll see some candies that we have here.
Right.
And they have them too, but like we do not have those flavors. And they will have the wildest
like the
flavors.
matcha
Yes, they'll have
yeah.
the wildest flavors. And I love that because we would just never know that those exist because
Right.
they just weren't popular with, I guess they crowd tested it in America.
That's what world market's good for. You can get all that stuff.
I definitely think that I'm going to stick with my normal gummy bears.
Yeah, the normal. I don't care for these. Maybe it's because they are expired. I don't know. But watch me just keep eating them because you cannot not eat.
Well, I will because I'm really hungry. And I'm just going to fill up on the blue.
It tastes like soap. Yet I'm eating it.
Are you one of those people that think cilantro tastes like soap?
No.
Oh.
Do people think that?
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of people have an aversion to cilantro that say that it tastes like soap. So I don't know if it's a chemical reaction with something. That one does not really have. So
Well, is that like a Coke bottle?
There's like a Coke bottle on the...
And this green thing with like...
Looks like a watermelon, but with cream running down the top of it. I don't know what that is. Like, I'm not really sure exactly what that is.
So
it
yeah,
looks like a watermelon
on the back
fruit.
it has like the 6 colors, but it's in German, so I don't know what it says.
We're not really sure. Okay, if you want to test these out yourself...
Go to World Market, that's where I found them, but we're going to go back to our original
We're going to go back to our original gummy bears. If you ever come and see us live, you will see a big bowl of gummy bears.
Always eating them.
Out there. Mm-hmm, yeah. Good call, though. I love getting a little gummy bear break.
Sustenance. The not your average gun girl sustenance.
I think that's just probably the only sugar that you actually eat.
Yeah. Wrong. Well,
You're
sugar
so
as
healthy.
in, no. Sugar as in like candy.
Yeah.
But like I eat pastry and desserts. I love desserts, you know that. But like as in candy, this is really the only candy I'll eat. Yeah. I try not to. I'd rather have a pastry. Okay. So now that you guys are so willing to really subscribe to us now because of our thrilling gummy bear review, I want to talk about, okay, so we're going to play this reel from this this lady. I'll just quickly try to summarize it before you guys listen to it. But she's from Canada. She was on a bus in Canada. There was some type of altercation happening between a passenger and the driver. Maybe not altercation. I think the driver was being harassed by a passenger. And she says that she was filming it, and then she got off the bus, and the person who was assaulting the bus driver attacked her for filming it. But she poses a great question at the end that we thought would be fun to kind of just like talk about. But we're going to watch this.
Hey everyone, I just wanted to come on here and share what happened to me last night. I'm not an alarmist, but I wanted to hopefully create a bit of awareness. I went to watch the Honda fireworks in English Bay, and on the bus ride home there was a group that were being verbally abusive to the bus driver. I decided to video the incident because I didn't know that all the TransLink buses have cameras, and I wanted to be able to give support to the bus driver. One of the girls in the group was upset that I was videoing, and when I got off the bus at Park Royal, I proceeded to walk to my car and was struck from behind and thrown into the street, landing on my face. And as you can see, I'm quite beaten as I've got a broken nose and a concussion, but I was lucky not to lose my teeth or break my jaw. And I know it's a cliche, but I never ever thought that something like this would happen to me, especially in Park Royal. And last night was extremely traumatic, and the question I have going forward is, should we get involved in scenarios that don't involve us to protect others? Like, I've always believed and raised my daughter to be of help, and after getting assaulted, I'm rethinking all of this. Is it simply too risky, and are we better off sitting passively? I'd love to hear your thoughts.
All right. So there's a lot of things to break down with that.
Good
that
question,
video, but I think it's that end question that really stood out to us to spark some conversation. But just to preface, like with all of these snippets of videos, whether it's a snippet of an incident that happened or someone sharing their version of what happened, you never know all sides. You don't know the full story. You don't know,
context.
Exactly. Sure. So you kind of have to take it with a grain of salt and just be more open-minded about what you're getting into.
So maybe we can't comment directly on her situation,
right,
but the question that she poses, I think, is very important. And it's actually something that they spent a lot of time in my concealed carry course talking about this. It's something I believe we did an episode with Andrew Braca about, I don't know how
The
long
law,
ago now. Like the law of self-defense, and it addresses this. And, when you start to consider stepping in and helping other people, do you have the full context of what is going on?
Right.
And I think that is always important before you ever decide to step in. Now, I don't think just sitting there videoing somebody is helpful.
No, I don't think it is. I think that's part of our culture.
So I don't know why she thinks she was being so Like, what was your videoing really gonna do and support? Like, you got beat up for videoing, but you really weren't interjecting yourself. But again, I don't know the whole context, but I think that a lot. I see a lot of these videos. Take, for instance, the Allen Mall shooting that happened not too long ago. And you see all these different angles of people who were just videoing. Right. To me, they weren't interjecting. They actually weren't doing anything other than just filming it. And I don't see that as helpful. Right. Or not helpful necessarily. I think
some people too are not equipped to help.
Sure.
But at the same time,
are you putting yourself in harm's way by filming?
Well, it's like, I feel like you are also making yourself not a target, but you're standing out now as just a bystander, just standing there filming and not doing anything. Yeah. But I think our culture today is also, everything is on our phones. And so we see something good, bad, whatever happened, and our immediate inclination is to, I have to record this. And while we know that like videos at whatever accidents or things like that become very helpful in times of any kind of criminal activity when they need to prosecute or need evidence or witness exactly what happened. But I just don't think it's like it wouldn't be in my nature to immediately go assist, because I think being like having this like mindset of lifestyle, I have questions in my head is, well, do they have a gun? I don't like knowing how fast these things can escalate and go horribly wrong. Right. Leads me to say, I'm going to step back and I'm just going to mind my own business, which I think a lot of people have they mind their own business.
Yeah. And I don't know. I mean, I think there's a part of me that would like to say, again, we're talking about so many different ends of the spectrum here on a bus driver getting verbally harassed versus seeing an active shooter. Right. That's two totally different situations that I may or may not get involved with. I don't know until I'm there in the situation. I would like to think that if I see a potential mass shooter, that I would, if I am carrying, would want to step in and do something. Or if I'm in my car behind the guy and I have time to get out my phone and video him shooting everybody, that maybe you would press the accelerator. I mean, like, I don't know. I would like to think in those situations I would, but then I guess it also comes down to, but are my kids with me? Can I get out of this situation? There are so many variables that I don't think there's one answer that.
No, of course not. I think too, it's also what you're saying. It's based on the situation. Like what is the situation that is happening? Because sometimes it's not something you want to get involved in. And I'm curious, like, I feel like maybe before not social media, but before we were also attached to our phones and feeling the need to document every aspect of our lives, I would hear from my other friends who are parents and things like that, talking about incidents with basically parents and kids in the grocery stores or whatever, where people were getting involved because they didn't think the mom should be treating, or the guardian shouldn't be treating the kid a certain way. And I don't know if I feel like that's sort of the same thing. Do you get involved?
Where does consent come into being recorded?
I don't think there is consent. You lose all right, because look at everything there's cameras everywhere now. Like they're using, facial rec on all these places.
Well,
going into the airport.
To that point, there was just a guy in Texas that sued the Dallas PD because the officer live streamed on his own personal TikTok the stop And the guy won because he was like, I didn't give you consent to film me and post it on my social media. So, and then there's this other side to me that I'm actually kind of shocked that this lady is shocked that something happened to her post filming people who didn't want to be filmed. So it's like, are you ready to accept any repercussions that come from your involvement at whatever level of involvement? And I think if that answer is yes, then you make that decision for yourself that you're ready to jump in and help however you see fit. But you have to know that there can be consequences regardless, and you need to be prepared for that.
Yeah.
And, you know, I'm a little shocked that this lady is so shocked that they've already proven that they're aggressive. They've already proven that they're willing to go beyond the point of social norms to harass and verbally harass somebody. And you're shocked that they tracked you down and beat you up in the parking lot. I mean, I hate that happened to that lady, but I would say if you were going to continue to do that you would need to be aware, maybe make some concessions let them get off the bus, and then you take the next stop and come back.
Well,
I mean,
like
maybe there's something you could do.
I don't know. Like, again, like if there is a situation happening that I know is not like that's hers is a perfect example, you know, someone being assaulted or verbally assaulted, and I'm in close proximity, I immediately I do not want to be near that. Yeah. Like I'm not going to film it, but I'm like, I'm going to back away, but I'm also going to be watching to see what is happening, because is it going to escalate to a point where it's going to spread past its little circle, or potentially do I need to be involved? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm curious.
Have you guys ever filmed an incident? And or if you've witnessed an incident, what did you do? Did you step in? Did you call police, or did you just mind your business and walk away and get out of whatever area you are in? Leave us a comment, send us a DM. We want to know, because I think this is I think it's an important topic. It's important considering social media, because we see it all the time. Like we see the ones that are, I feel like that's what the new, like mainstream media now heavily relies on, these like Instagram, whatever social media videos of like, hey, did you see this guy like on the airplane, filming the people on the airplane, like losing their mind over.
In one sense, it's helpful because it's on the ground breaking news, this guerrilla journalism style, which helped. I remember I follow an account, Dallas, Texas TV, that's where I get my breaking news. I follow these guys because it's people on the ground sending them their videos, and they are the ones where I found out about the Allen shooting. And I talk about that because that's in my backyard and it was like so close to home. And I remember they had videos coming in from people on the ground immediately. So I was actually following them for the most up-to-date information. Now, however, they were not a news source. So they weren't giving me there was no other context or facts around it. It's like you watch this video and that's all you get, but they are breaking news. And I think that's happening around the country. So, you know,
and I feel like too, like as good citizens, we have to understand that, like when we're seeing something on social media or hearing something, that it is only that 5 to 10, 15 second. We don't know what's happening leading up to it. We don't know any of those things. And I think that we lose that a lot. And we just immediately jump on the fact that in those 5 seconds, we someone do ABC and we're like, oh, that's it. They're wrong or whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, it's interesting. I came across that and I was like, this is interesting. I
that was
talk about this.
Good video. Good topic to discuss there, because I don't really know. That gives me a lot to think about.
Okay, so a couple weeks ago, we asked you guys on our Instagram to send us some questions. So now I'm trying to get to these questions, and we got a good amount of questions. Thank you so much. We love it when you guys engage with our content. It really means a lot, and then especially when we do these question boxes, that you let us know what those questions are. So we're going to go through. We're going to pick like our top. We'll eventually answer them all, but in this episode, we're going to go through these 5.
Okay.
Okay. I guess it doesn't really matter what order we go in, does it?
No, just pick one.
We'll just start. First gun you started carrying and gun you carry now.
First gun I started carrying was a Glock 43, and the gun I carry now, I've been actually testing out my Mossberg MC2. And I've really been enjoying that gun. That is what
It's the one we shot at
typically currently
gun site.
at gun site. And I wasn't used to carrying with a red dot in the sights that were on there. So I wanted to give that a try and see if it changed anything. And it really didn't. It actually is still pretty comfortable and love how that gun shoots. It wasn't any heavier than my other options. So that's what I'm currently carrying.
Nice. I too, Glock 43.
Yep. Well, because
we're
talking about the first one to the party, though, was for single stack subcompact, 9mm was the Glock 43.
Yes.
They were the first to the party, and then everyone kind of followed in step after that. So I think most OGs back in the day were...
Actually, technically, when I first started, I believe I may have started with the HKVP9 S, like the subcom. No, the subcompact.
It's like that blows my mind, because wasn't it heavy?
No, it's wider. The grip was wider on that. And then I got the Glock 43. But I would say I really officially started carrying with the Glock 43.
And the only reason I changed from my 43 was just capacity. Now they've got other models that feel just as great.
Well, I couldn't do anything in DC. Glock 43 was my only option.
What was the capacity?
That was a 7. Isn't it 6+1 or 7?
Wait, but like the limit
10
in
round.
DC. Oh, it was 10 round?
And then the P365 wasn't out then.
Yeah.
So now I carry the SIG P365, but as soon as I can get a holster for the Beretta ADX Cheetah, I'm going to see how that is, because it is a little bit of a bigger frame.
That's such a pretty gun, though. Is that a...
It is, I know.
Is that really a carry? Like, was it intended to be a carry firearm? It's so pretty. Like, I don't ever...
Well, they do have a black one that's just all black.
I know. I just don't want to, like, dirty up my...
Maybe I should just put it on display next to my shoes.
It's going to be our new...
We can just put it up here on the back wall.
Yes.
It will match quite nicely. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I need to get a holster for that, but I want to give that one a try and see how it is. Okay. Next question. Are you going to get Lena Michulik on the pod?
Well, whoever asked that question, you are in luck, because we actually have had Lena Michulik on the pod several years ago at SHOT Show.
Yeah, at SHOT Show at the SIG booth.
Yes. What episode was that?
43. It's episode 43.
All right. You're in luck. We will tag it below. Go back and listen to it. Lena was a great guest. She has some wonderful insights. Loved hearing her story. So you can go and catch up with Lena.
She's grown and done so much more since then, which is awesome. So we probably need to have her back on.
We probably do need to have her back on to
catch
talk
up.
about.
But yeah, we have had her on the show. Okay. How do I get my daughter to think about her personal safety?
Well, you are also in luck, because just last week we did an episode.
2 weeks ago.
It was 2 weeks ago? Episode 14. Go back and listen, because we get asked this all the time, especially from men. They come up and they say, I want my daughter to start being more situationally aware or thinking about her personal safety. How do I do that? We put an episode together where we actually broke that down for you and gave some really simple step-by-step guides that they can start putting in place right now, some things that they can start implementing right away in their life.
It's all free.
Yep.
It doesn't involve anything but just taking action in your own life.
Yes. So go back and listen to episode 14, which we will also link below. And here's what I want you to do. I want you to go and I want you to highlight it, copy, paste it in a text message. Send it to your daughter.
Yes. And tell your daughter to send it to her friends.
Make it as easy as you can, and just go ahead and copy and paste the link in a text message or in a DM if you both are on Instagram, whatever it is. Just make it as easy for them as possible and let them know, hey, check out these girls. There's some tips that you could hopefully learn a few things from and have some good takeaways.
Awesome. Okay, next question. How can I legally fly with my gun? Obviously not carrying on my person, but in checked baggage. Ooh. Well, this is a good question.
It's a good question.
I do have a full article on StompingTactical.com that talks about flying with firearms.
Did you tell them which states never to fly through or have a layover in?
No, I leave that up to them and the reciprocity map that concealedcarry.com provides.
That is good.
But like when you are carrying with a gun, I mean, I remember the first time I traveled with my gun and I was so freaking nervous. Because again, this is DC, like going through DCA. And so I researched everything, and really what you really need to do is you need to look at whatever airline you're flying, because while each airline kind of has a general set of like rules they follow. Each airline also has their own nuances into what they will and won't allow. But generally, it's always unlocked and unloaded in a locked case. Your ammo has to be separate from your firearm, and ammo has to be in the factory box. Like you can't like be bringing ammo in your Ziploc bag.
I would also go as far as to say to know those rules back and like forwards and backwards, because the people that are checking you in,
they don't know,
have no clue what they're talking about. Half of them they just have absolutely no idea what they're talking about, and they'll fight you on it. And then you have to be willing and able to say, nope, this is the rule. Here's this, and it goes beyond to just firearms. I remember I had, I was running late. This is why this even came up. I was running late for a flight. And you know how you have that cutoff window to even be able to check your bag? So I was bumping up against that limitation, and I had mace. I didn't even have my firearm at this point, but I had just thrown my mace in the bag. And normally I wouldn't have even brought it up because it's in my bag. But what I didn't want to happen is to miss that cutoff.
Right.
And it wasn't a carry-on size, so I would have like missed my flight. So I was like, hey, I have mace in my bag. Is that okay? And stupid me, I asked them, they're like, well, no, like, absolutely not. You can't do that. And I'm like, but I'm pretty sure you can, but I don't have time to fight you on this right now. Like, they didn't even know what the rule was for mace. And so you need to know. And that made me then go research the mace laws and all this kind of stuff. And I would have been fine in arguing it with them, and I could have gotten it on, but I didn't have time in that point. But it made me think I really need to know exactly what my rights are and how to carry this stuff properly and safely and within the limitations. But I will say, you say go check the reciprocity laws. The only state I definitely know that you do not, if you have a layover or you stop at JFK or LaGuardia, somewhere anywhere in New York, and you have a firearm, even if the state you are flying to at your final destination allows you to carry with a firearm, you will be in trouble. You do not want to take that risk. So if you ever have to stop or have a layover in New York, or you ever fly, you cannot fly to New York with a firearm.
And so
normal citizens.
Right. So then, because I had the same situation happen where I missed the cutoff and I had my firearm, and your bag can't go ahead of you with your firearm and you not be on that flight.
Oh, so what happened?
I had to reschedule my entire flight. I sat in the airport for an extra 6 hours. It was really miserable, but that was my own fault.
Give yourself extra time.
Right. Yeah. So that's another thing. So you have all the, read the TSA's website, the airline's website. What I like to do is have that up on my phone ready, like in my browser. So if I have to bring it up to them, I have it ready.
Because you do have to declare it.
So what you have to do is, and I think this also kind of like throws off agents or ticket agents now, because everything is all like kiosk based. So when you have to go to a ticket agent and you have to tell them you're declaring a firearm. And I think that
you can usually cut the line though and go to the special, either the first class line or like the special
because most of them are like, wait, why are you standing in this line? Because like, why aren't you using the kiosk?
And you usually don't have to wait in the whole like general boarding line, because they'll call over like their TSA agents and all that kind of stuff. So
in my experience, is like you go in, you declare the firearm, and they will ask again, like this depends on the airline. It depends on the ticket agent. They have asked me to open up my suitcase and then to see that it is locked in its own case. And then you fill out again, like I had the last time my phone was like a couple years ago with my gun. You have to like declare it, and you have to sign this little thing, and you put it in your luggage. Close it up. And what I will say is, yes, I would get there even earlier than you normally have to get there, because typically it's not always the agent that checks you in that's going to do your firearm validation, if you will. Sometimes they have to call somebody else who is more familiar, and who knows how long that could take. And then when you get to your destination, what's supposed to happen is your bag gets pulled as they're unloading it from the airplane and gets sent to the airline's baggage office, where it's under watch. That doesn't always happen, because I've had mine going on around the carousel many times. Wow. And it's like, I go to the office, I don't see it, and I just am waiting and waiting. And all of a sudden I see my bag
There's
going
your
around
bag.
the carousel.
Yeah.
So always allow yourself time. Make sure it's locked in a case. It's unloaded. Have your ammo separate and ammo in
I
its
was
factory
terrified when I flew with one to California.
Oh my gosh.
Mostly because, like, I knew I was doing everything legal, but I was like, well, what if
don't
I get there
know.
and, they don't know and
Right.
something weird. And I mean, it was like a whole thing.
It's
when
really
I got there. They pulled me aside. I had a personal person bringing my bag to
Yeah.
me. And then I remember they thanked me for my service. They're like, thank you for your service. And I'm just like, I'm not even going to go there with
Right.
okay, clearly not a lot of people fly into California with their firearm.
No, not at all. But yeah, just leave it. It's not that once you get through it the first time, it'll be fine. But really, it's just allowing yourself time and just being prepared.
Yeah.
I mean, if you followed the rules that they put on their website and TSA has said, that's all you can do.
Yep.
And then just give yourself time, and you'll be good to go. It'll be simple. All right. We're gonna do one more question.
Great.
List your favorite training and self-development books. This is my favorite part of this question. A girl can only read Gift to Fear so many times. I read Gift to Fear probably once a year. I love that book. I think it's just one of those. It kind of gets you back into the mindset of personal safety and wanting to just kind of be more aware of it.
Is she saying meaning self-development in relation to self-defense and situational awareness? I mean, I don't read a whole lot of books in that.
I've got a couple that cover both.
Okay.
So
I would say in that regard, I loved The Law of Self-Defense.
Yep.
That one was extremely helpful. And we even had that author.
Andrew Branca, yep.
Yes, I wasn't prepared to give this episode, but we did have him on and we did a whole episode with him talking about The Law of Self-Defense. I'd say that one. But I don't read a whole lot of those books. I mean, right now I have 4 books going on at once, more on business development and those kind of things. So I mean, if that's interesting to anyone,
So the ones that are currently on my list, in the personal safety kind of that realm, I love all of Tim Larkin's books. So Violence is the Answer. That's a great one. Survive the Unthinkable is another one by Tim Larkin. They all sharing stories and tips on personal safety and situational awareness and things like that. And then I'm almost done with Essentialism. It's the disciplined pursuit of less. So it kind of just helps you. I think you might like that book because it talks about, it's not so much less as in terms of clutter that comes into play, but it's also about helping you to make more clear, focused decisions, things like that. So I really like that book. Those are kind of the ones that are on my nightstand right now.
Awesome.
But I have read Violence is the Answer already. And I do. That's Gift to Fear. I will read that again just because I highlight and then I kind of go back to what I highlighted and what I made note.
Yeah.
But that's sort of where.
Those are good. I mean, not down that same path, but I'm reading Execution. It's just a really great business book if you're looking on ways to actually take your ideas, especially if you're a leader in whatever business or association or organization you're a part of. It helps you focus and execute on the vision and what you want, because you can be a visionary, and if you can't execute your vision, then this is not about executions. It is not about executions. No, it is about executing your vision and your plans. Also reading, just finished Miracle Morning, which was good. I enjoyed that. And what else am I reading right now? First 100 Days. If you're getting a new position or a new job and you're looking for how do I actually maximize my first 100 days in that role, helps you map out your plan. Lots of good books. So I just like business books.
Yeah.
And occasionally I need a good nonfiction to take my brain off everything, but I don't have time to read those anymore.
I don't either. I have friends who are doing the book swap and those, and I'm just I would rather I need more personal development style books.
If I'm going to take the time to do it, it needs to be adding value to my life, and hopefully that I can add value to other people's lives.
With these stack of books that I have now, I've been trying to get into 15 minutes before bed now. And I've been pretty consistent at 15 minutes. I think some people do 10 pages, but I'm well, let me just do 15 minutes or a chapter, depending on how big the chapter is, to try to, because sometimes I don't like to stop in the middle unless Like the chapter was very long, but that's where we're at.
That's all our
Those are good questions. We got more questions, but they are, I want to say pretty focused, that I think we're going to start putting them into like some episodes to give you like a deeper content, because then otherwise this is going to be hours long, and we want to make sure that you guys get the information that you need. But keep sending us the questions. We love hearing from you as always.
Yep. And just a little reminder, if you made it to the end of this show and you have not liked and commented on our YouTube page and this episode, it helps us out a ton. Please go ahead and even subscribe if you're not subscribed, and follow along if you want to listen to the audio, Apple, iTunes, Spotify, and all your favorite platforms.
Wherever you listen to your podcasts. And until next time.
We'll see you next time.
Not Your Average Gun Girl Show and its related companies, Alexo Athletica LLC and Stami Tactical LLC, shares information that may potentially have legal implications for its listeners. A reminder that laws vary for each state, and we encourage listeners to seek local legal advice to understand applicable laws. Any items, services, products, and advice mentioned during the Not Your Average Gun Girl Show should be used at your own discretion in accordance with your local and state laws, and you should follow applicable manufacturer's instructions. Not Your Average Gun Girls, Alexo Athletica LLC, and Stami Tactical LLC cannot be held liable for your actions based on the information shared.